Yo, what up? What's going on, people? Early-ish for me, but that's okay. Early-ish, trying to get a little earlier start. What's up, Kalia? Chase, what up? You're in Omaha, right? I forgot, something like that. What's going on? Philly. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I liked Philly more. Oh well. It's all relative, I guess, right? Nice day out today. Oh no, it's gonna rain though tomorrow. No, it's gonna rain the next couple days. Ain't that a bitch? Not that good, Kalia. Not that good. Issues with my son. With all the bullshit with work. Not good at all. What's up, Anthony? It hasn't been good, but things come in waves, right? Let's wait for some people to come on in. I got mad sinus pressure too, which is fucking annoying. Like, I guess it's allergies. I don't know what it is, but I never had it before. I don't know if it's moving out here or what. We can't wait to move the fuck out of here. Whole family can't wait. I mean, nobody likes moving, but when you fucking hate where you're at, you don't mind. What's up, Shark? What's cracking? The Shark. Hey, what kind of shark you at? You are you? Pool? Poker? In the ring? What kind of shark we talking about? Shark Tank? The chat is open, as usual. A Megalodon. That's dope. That's a good answer. Megalodon is a prehistoric shark that is obviously extinct that was the size of a fucking school bus. I mean, picture a shark the size of a school bus. This is in prehistoric times, but it would bite straight through a fucking boat, through a yacht, like crazy. I'm saying, man, they got sharks on Shark Tank. You know what I'm saying? Benavidez is going to batter Yard like a chicken finger. He's going to batter him head to toe like a mozzarella stick and drop him in the deep fryer. Now, it was about the size of a school bus or a Greyhound bus, which is big. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the biggest great whites now get to maybe 10 feet or 12 feet. This shit was like 20. I mean, it was and wide. And they have the jaw. They have a fossilized jaw of a megalodon, and it's like I could get in it. Like I'm almost 6 feet, and it's like I believe the jaw open is about 6 feet, maybe even bigger. Let's see. How tall was the jaw of a megalodon? I'm sorry, 9 feet. The jaw would open up at 9 feet. I was way off. 9 feet. So it would swallow up Shaq. It would swallow up Jokic, all of them. 9 feet when he opens his mouth. That's out of control. Marco, I come to tell you I'm the last one to survive. And you can talk and type? That's dope. You wouldn't sleep on him? All right. I mean, look, it's boxing. Anything's possible, but that's what they said about Plant. That's what everybody said about Morrell. Yeah, we're going to try and get out of the house a little earlier today. I'm fucking stressed out, man. Coming on here is not only his work, but it's, I don't know, it kind of calms my nerves, believe it or not. Your best friend, CJ. Kalia and CJ sitting in a tree. I don't know. I think Kalia's too sweet for you, CJ. I feel like you like him a little dirty or something. What was that from? That's from a movie. I like him a little dirty or something. Anyway, My Blue Heaven, maybe? What's that from? But I feel like that's CJ. Like, I feel like Kalia just be too sweet. He'd be like, she's too nice. Although I don't know, Kalia, you know how girls get when they get in relationships. Sometimes that niceness goes out the window. So I don't know. Are you a shark too with the men? That yard getting beat up, beat up, beat up. Yeah, yeah. He's gonna get the beats put on him, like Dr. Dre and JBL. So got David, but I think Yard puts up a decent fight. Yeah. No. We're not arguing that. By the way, the lines are open. Call in. We're not arguing that. Oh, it's early for you. Some of you guys in California, huh? It's like 8:50 over there. Wow. But yeah, we're not arguing that Yard isn't like nice. Just Benavidez is nicety nice, right? What happens if nice fights nicety nice? You feel me? I still got the okay. So I already read that. Man, once I start getting 200, 300, 500 people in here, I won't be able to read all these. I don't know how long. I mean, that's probably going to take a while. Last night we were popping off about 70 or 80, right? Consistent. It's pretty good. But that might have been because none of my competition was live, so everybody comes to me, which sucks. That's when you know I'm popping. Like when my competition is live and they're still coming over here. It's a crazy weekend. Way too many fights. Which one you not highlight watching this weekend? I'm gonna highlight watch all the girl. I might actually watch the final girl fight because it's so exciting. The main event. I'm gonna be at the press conference for the girl fight. Not the press conference. I'm gonna do the weigh-in on Thursday. I'm gonna come in for the weigh-in. Might see my man Mo Brains there. Yeah, he will be the first community member that I've met in person, if we end up seeing each other. I haven't met any others in person. I mean, besides like Shane and Fred, who I know from childhood. That's a whole different. I don't think I'm gonna go to the fight itself in Queens. I just feel like it's not gonna really do. So it's spending money, right, for one, and mad time because I live far from there. Those two. But I don't know if it will do much for my career. Like I'm gonna go there. Let's say I get a ticket, right? I go, I sit in my seat. It's not like I'm gonna see people. I might bump into people, but I don't know. I don't think it would really do much for me. The girls weighing in, yeah. They have their shirts off and shit. Well, not topless, but only nerdy chicks now. We all like girls with hoe tendencies. All of us. I'm going to, Kalia, but I got to get my money in order first, which I'm doing. As you guys know, I'm selling my club. I'm getting some of my shit together. Then we will. I don't know about New York City. Either that or right outside New York City in Westchester, which is a suburb, but right outside. or maybe Queen. I'm gonna try and push for Queens because that's close to Westchester too. Because Tia has family there, so and Connecticut, we can get to all that right there. Boom, booyaka. So we'll see. You never know who you run into. I say try to go to the fight too. No, that's true, but like, fuck am I gonna do? I can't drive there because we only have one car and my wife needs it, here. So I'd have to take the train, which I could do, but like getting back here at night, I'd have to sleep in a hotel or somewhere else, a friend's house or something. I don't know. Just don't want to do it. What? What you mean? Why the fuck would you work at Westchester if you live in Philly? Please explain. 2 questions. Where in Westchester? And explain how that did. Were you living there? How did that work out? Yard might beat Benavides. Yeah, okay. And I might have a growth spurt and be 7 feet and play for the fucking Knicks. You might really be a Megalodon. Actually, nah, that's impossible because they can't type. But you might have really seen a Megalodon. Might. It is. What? No, I don't believe that. I gotta look that up. I mean, I don't know why I'm doubting you because you're from there, but let's see. What town in Westchester? Let's do Yonkers. I'll do Yonkers. That's the closest one. Yonkers to Philly. What? Yonkers to Philly. 2 hours, almost 3 hours. 2.5 to 3 hours. You're wiling out. You are wiling out. Explain yourself, woman. Almost 3 fucking hours. How was it? Westchester, New York? Nah, that's what I thought. That shit's mad far. Westchester University. Okay, I don't even know where the fuck that is. University. Westchester University. Well, there's a Westchester University in Philly. University. There's one in Philly. That's an hour away. Oh, man, you're talking about the fucking one in Philly. Are you joking? Were you joking? Because the Westchester University in Philly, that's an hour away. But not no damn Westchester County, New York. You know what's funny too, CJ? That wasn't even filmed in Queens. That was filmed in Brooklyn. That shitty ass block, like where the barbershop was and where he throws like, "Good morning, my New Yorkers. Fuck you. Look, a place so free one can throw garbage on the street." That was actually filmed in Brooklyn. Funny enough, although McDowell's was filmed in Queens. I know exactly where that is. That's in Jackson Heights. I used to drive by there as a kid with my father. When he was around. Kalia's man is bearded Muslim. Looks like the rapper Freeway. Kalia doesn't have a man, does she? I just did. And it said an hour, but it was a Westchester University that's in Pennsylvania, not Westchester County, New York. You know what I'm saying? Westchester County, New York is at least 2.5 hours away from you. Because New York City is about an hour and a half, right? No traffic. And then Westchester is another hour from New York. So that makes sense. But I digress. Oh, man, I just want to get the fuck out of here. I knew this shit was whack from the beginning, but I decided to Give it a shot. I didn't decide. Wifey basically made us all do it. None of us wanted to come here. Like, none of us. Anyway, back to the ranch. Back to the ranch. So what other fights are on this Sheeraz card? There's 3. I only remember Shakur and I only remember Berlanga. What's the other one? Well, let's see. Let us see. What's the other one that is on that card? Berlanga versus Sheeraz. I'm still pissed I can't go. Unless Shaq comes through for me, but I don't think that's going to happen. What's the card? Oh, right. Matthias. Oh, here we go. We got Berlanga, Sheeraz. I'm going with Sheeraz. Shakur Zepeda. Undefeated, 2 undefeateds. Once somebody's must go. I got Shakur. Alberto Puello versus Subriel. I don't know anything about Puello. Let's see. let me do this. Let me share this with you guys. Oh, we got my man Shelton. What's up? What's going on, Shelton?
What's the word, bro? What are you talking about? The card?
I'm looking at the card now. All right, so now I don't know anything about this Puello guy. So
Alberto Puello is the guy that beat Gary Antoine Russell.
Yeah, he's undefeated. Very low knockout percentage. He is from, he's Dominican.
Yes.
Okay. 30 years old.
Yes.
Okay. He fights at 140. Who did he beat? Sandra Martin. Ooh.
Yes.
Russell, yep. Akhmedabov. Oh, that's a good win, isn't it? No. See, no, that's not. These fucking Russian guys have similar last names. I'm like, okay, so that looks like those are his only big wins, but those are good wins. How tall is he? 5'9.5". Okay. Okay. So,
who's he fighting?
Puello is fighting Matthias.
Good fight.
Yeah.
Good fight.
Morel.
Good fight.
Oh, Morel's back. Morel's fighting.
He's fighting a forklift driver.
Katiev. Imam.
Forklift driver.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Imam Katiev. Let's see what we got here. Why didn't I? That didn't copy and paste. That's annoying. He's 10-0. 10-0. Not bad.
I guess who?
Let's see. Can you guys see this? I don't know. Let me just make sure. No, you can't. Well, I'm looking it up. Okay. Katiev is 10-0. Ooh, 90% knockout. 9 knockouts. He is from Russia. Fights out of Australia.
Okay.
And he has beaten nobody of name. At least not to me.
Absolutely nobody.
Right. But he's fighting David Morel. How tall is he? 5'10". Okay, Morel's about 6'1". Okay. That'll be interesting. Okay.
He's in trouble. But that's a good confidence builder though. I'll give him that.
True. Who's Rito Susumi?
A forklift driver?
Versus Eric Hanley, who's 1-2.
A warehouse worker.
Susumi, though, is so those are all the fights, I think. Susumi, though, looks like he is the one. Okay, Susumi is a Japanese professional boxer, amateur. He won. Oh, he's a gold medalist. Oh no, World Youth Championships. The fuck. 22 years old. He's a featherweight.
Hey, that's a big accomplishment. Hey, bro, that's a big accomplishment, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean it's more than I did, but 1-0. More than I did. 1-0, unanimous decision as an amateur.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, no, it's true. Let's see, who did he fight as an amateur? Anybody I recognize? No. But I don't really know many of the featherweights because. All right. So that's not a bad card.
It's a decent card. It's a decent card.
What's up, Mo?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's early.
What's going on, sir?
Early as shit for you guys.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm sitting here. It's so early. I'm watching Kelly Pavlik and Sergio Martinez.
You're in California, Sheldon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Los Angeles.
All you California guys, nice and early.
Yeah.
Pavlik and who?
Sergio Martinez.
I don't even fucking remember that one. I'm Martinez outboxes him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
115, 112.
Yeah. Oh, so close-ish.
Close fight. Great fight. Martinez was just too quick. He was at the peak of his powers back then, though.
Martinez was like, he fought, could we say like a slick black fighter?
Yes.
Right? Hands down, would fucking fuck with you.
Yes.
Yeah. He kind of almost annoyed me. He kept his hands so low.
But he was so quick.
I guess he was. Kept him so low.
He kind of took the Winky Wright, kind of Marvin Hagler type route where nobody wanted to fight him because he was a southpaw. So he had to go all over the world and fight everybody until he finally got a shot.
Yeah, what was his big breakout fight? I guess the Paul Williams knockout?
Paul Williams knockout.
And that was at 54, I believe.
54.
Yeah.
54.
Yeah, Paul Williams, man. That's we talk about the biggest what ifs. He's not the biggest because he already lost, but that's a what if.
Yeah. He would have been really, really good.
Yeah, that's a what if. 6'2" or 3?
Yeah, 6'2".
Poor guy. But that's why you don't, guys. I don't know how many of you do this, but don't fuck with motorcycles. Like that killed Diego Corrales. Fuck Paul Williams up. Fuck Edwin Valero. Well, Valero was crazy to begin with. But
Yeah, fucked him up too. Yeah, I don't fuck with motorcycles. Never have. Never liked them.
Fuck that. To me, a motorcycle is like a cigar. Let me explain. Cigars stink, and everybody who smokes them thinks they're cool, and they're unavoidable for bystanders. Like you smell it, you're like, oh, and the person smoking is just motorcycle, same shit. You can't avoid hearing it, and everybody all in one thinks they're cool. I kind of relate to each other, and that's kind of weird, but that's
that's
like peacocking. Dudes who are motorcycles or who smoke cigars are fucking peacocking. They want everybody to see or smell what they're doing, and they think the shit is dope. And the majority of us who aren't into it are like, "You're so fucking whack! Like, stop it."
Marco, there's two kind of guys who ride bikes, Marco.
Okay.
The guys who have fallen and the guys who are going to fall. It's just a matter of time.
Have you fallen? Have you rode a bike, Mo?
I have not, but funny you mention it. I have a coworker this kid is like 22 years old, and last month someone ran a red light. He was on a bike with him and his girl. They fucked his shit up. Her whole grill smashed up, and he's out of work with a broken arm. Terrible. 22 years old, bro.
Do they have a helmet rule in Cali?
Yes.
I believe they do.
Yes.
So in New York they do, but here in Connecticut they don't. So I see some of these fucking idiots with no helmet on. I'm like, oh my goodness.
And you see someone like that riding with no helmet, it's just a matter of time before they're a smear on the pavement, because that's crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's fucking crazy. But,
Hey, guess what, Marco? You know who else Sergio Martinez introduced us to?
Tell me.
Samson Linkowitz.
Right. Wow. That was his manager,
first guy,
promoter, whatever he is.
That was his first guy. That was Samson's first guy.
That's another guy who he has the name of I don't know, like a black Polish guy, but he's fucking Hispanic. It's very confusing. Right? Samson. Reminds me like a strong black guy. Linkowitz is like a little nerdy Polish dude.
Like a Jewish guy.
Jewish guy, right? But this dude speaks with a fucking Spanish accent. Very confusing.
Yeah, because he's from Argentina.
That's probably not, and maybe this is his real name. Who knows? Joaquin, what up? This is the first black Shelton ever. I don't know. Maybe. There he is. I don't know if it's the first one ever.
I think he's second.
Second Shelton. Nah, I feel like, I don't know. What do people call you for short? Anything?
No, they better not.
Oh, you don't like it? You like just the full name?
No.
All right. Fuck it.
Call me by my name.
All right, I got you. Hope Berlanga.
So let me ask: Are you on the train with the yard guys? You think yard got a shot? Because I don't trust him.
Yard? No, I think so. You might not know this about me, but you're gonna learn it. Benavidez to me is one of my favorite fighters. I believe he's top 5 pound for pound as we speak. And I believe he's going to go down as one of the greatest fighters of his generation. So, no.
I don't argue with any of those points. I don't argue with any of that.
Yeah, nah, Yard is not beating. No, he might clip him a couple times, but that just like when Benavidez gets hit like that, it's like swallowing a Pac-Man power pellet. He just starts chomping harder. You know what I mean?
Now, you know who I thought who probably had a better chance to beat him was maybe Callum Smith.
I don't think. I mean, maybe. Look, Benavidez or Bivol have the best chance to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not fighting either one of those guys, but I'm just saying of the guys that were available.
Right. Well, he was.
I think Callum Smith had a better chance because Callum Smith throws straight punches.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really hope he fights the winner of Bivol better. I mean, is that fight definitely set? The third one? I don't think
well, Bivol has an injury now, so he's pulling out. And Beterbiev is pissed saying that, Bivol has an injury.
You sure?
Yeah, fight's been pushed back. You can look it up. You're on your computer. And Beterbiev is saying that Bivol's trying to age him out.
Teach. I don't think I'm going to Queens, man. They denied me for a press pass, which a mix of hurt my feelings, humbled me, and pissed me off.
You don't want to pay?
It's not that I don't want to, like, because the tickets aren't even that expensive. It's that I live kind of far, and for me, right? For my career, like if I go there and I'm not having access to press events and press stuff, it doesn't really do much. I go there, I sit down in my seat, I watch it, and then I bounce. And if I see some people, but in big stadiums, you don't always bump into people. It's the press areas are where you bump into people. So,
right.
You know what I mean? It's likely I'll go take all that time, spend the money, and just to see from shittier seats than if I'm watching on my TV.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't think I'm going to, and I'm a little I want to be
invited. If you're not going to press, you're right. If it's not going to help your career, what's the point? I get it.
Exactly. Do they have a date for November fight yet? I don't know.
What fight in November? Oh, Haney and the other guy, Norman Jr. Norman Jr. Yeah. The champion. I'm sorry, the champion and Haney.
I'd be pissed off too if the fight. Yeah, the fight's not even selling that well. Yeah, it's not even selling that well.
You got to think nobody. Let's just be honest, bro. Let's just keep it as the kids say, keep it a bean, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a hardcore boxing fan, if you're not really into boxing, you have no idea who Brian Norman Jr. is.
Absolutely. Well, I think he's talking about the Queens fight that's not selling. But that's the same thing.
And the last image, even if you're casual, the last image you have of Devin Haney is him getting beat up.
Or hailing an Uber.
I'm pretty sure if you're casual, you didn't watch Sergio, what's his name? Jose Ramirez. You didn't watch that fight.
Probably not.
Because nobody knows who that dude is either.
I was telling people were like, because I'm from New York, right? And people are like, yo, it's going to be packed. The time it's going to. I'm like, I guarantee all of you. Did I not say this, Mo? It won't be any more busy than a normal Friday night. And
no. But that's different, though. We thought it was going to be open to the public. Of course, there's not going to be a crowd around a fucking 20-foot tall fence. Like, of course.
Well, no, but Mo, there was Jumbotron showing it everywhere. I do think people would crowd around, like I did, just to watch it, to get the energy and all that, because the Jumbotron is there. But you're right, maybe. But nobody even knew it wasn't open. A lot of people didn't even know that until like they showed up.
What part of California you live in, Mo?
I'm in the Bay Area, so Northern California.
Okay, you in the Bay. You in the Bay. When you in your everyday life, you walking around. If you talk about boxing, who knows who Brian Norman Jr. is?
Of course.
Nobody.
Who knows
wait,
who
what was that? What was the question?
Jose Ramirez is? Who
He's
knows
Not a
in the Bay
single
Area
person.
where you live? Not a single person.
We were having
Who
this
knows who Jose
conversation-
Ramirez is?
We were having this conversation
Nobody.
yesterday that the average person would only know right now of active fighters, the average person, like let's say you go in the street in New York City, because that has a melting pot of everybody from all over the country, and you poll 1,000 people, and I guarantee you of those 1,000, maybe even 10,000, the majority might know who Jake Paul is, but that's it. That's it. They won't know Bud Crawford. They won't know Inoue. They won't know all these great pound fights. They won't know anybody but Jake Paul, because people just don't know boxing.
They'll know. They probably know the redhead. They probably know the redheaded Mexican. They probably know him.
I disagree.
He's all over the place.
I
He
think
got Modelo commercials. He got Super Bowl commercials. They might know who he is.
I think Mexicans or Mexican Americans will, but I don't think. I really don't, man. And
yeah, you could be right. But I know for a fact, I'm in LA. I'm in LA, bro. And Bud Crawford is my favorite fighter right now. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you, nobody knows who that dude is.
No. No. But if you poll those same 10,000 people and say, do you know who LeBron is, or even Steph Curry? I mean, those are all-time greats, so maybe it's not a fair comparison, but they'll know more of those players than, that's just what it is. So that's maybe why.
I mean, forget Bud Crawford, bro. I mean, the only person that I can really have even a thorough conversation about boxing with is my coworker who's like 70 years old, and we talk fucking old time boxing. Like, you know what I mean? He's still talking about fucking Joe Frazier and Jerry Cooney and shit. You know what I mean?
Hey Mo, but I bet you they know who John Jones is.
That's true.
John Jones, the MMA dude.
Yeah,
they know who he is.
It's more popular. I mean, I think way more popular than boxing.
Yeah, it is with the kids. Yeah, it is. It is.
That's why I think the merger with Dana White is genius, because now he's putting boxing instantly in the eyes of that huge MMA fan base. I thought it was smart. People hate it, but I think it's real smart.
Now the issue is though, Marco, is that he's tried and failed to start boxing promotion in the past.
I don't know about that, but I do know that he didn't do it with Turkey. He didn't do it with the kind of love that Turkey's getting and the kind of following Turkey has. Also, not only from the fans, but the fighters. You know what I mean?
And you got to remember this too.
Isn't he?
There you go, Marco. There you go, right there. The money
for being cheap. Like,
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Turkey isn't, so that kind of solves that problem.
Right. Yeah, that's the problem. When he did try to start the other MMA, the other boxing promotion, he was trying to pay them fighters like he paid them UFC guys, and that was never going to work.
Right. So I think it's genius. People are trying to shit on the whole Muhammad Ali Act thing. Well, they're trying to get rid of the Muhammad Ali Act. Well, they should, because the Muhammad Ali Act is only good for boxing's current structure, and boxing's current structure is garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where the top guys eat and everybody else starves.
Right. Because the problem is, and the Muhammad Ali Act basically does not let one person be a promoter and a manager. Now, if you have a league, you're acting as both. So it won't let a league go into boxing. But I wouldn't even worry about the Muhammad Ali Act, because the shit is, nobody's ever enforced it. There's no penalties even in the statutes. There's no penalties for what happens if you do violate it. It's such a bullshit act to begin with. But people don't know.
Well, it was only enacted because it had Muhammad Ali's name attached to it, and the senators knew if they used Muhammad Ali's name, it could pass it.
Yeah, and when people hear it, they think Muhammad Ali Act, you're violating that. How dare you? They almost take it like you're disrespecting Ali.
Exactly. But
you're not.
But they don't even take the time to read what it is. They'll take the time to read and see what it is.
I didn't even know what it was until recently. Like what it really was. I took finally
until you read it. Until you read it.
Like,
oh, this is bullshit.
Yep.
I mean, nothing's stopping the big promoters.
Huh?
I was gonna say
Mhm.
nothing stops the big promoters from using the same strong arm tactics that they always have. Like, look at what happened with the PBC and Golden Boy. They ran off like bandits with all the contracts of all these marquee fighters, and then they used business tactics to like kind of corner the market on that entire welterweight division, which was the big money making division for like an entire generation of fighters. And now look what's happened afterwards. Now they
Well, you
basically pilfered the sport, and now there's no talent coming out of that whole promotion.
Mm.
Well, you gotta remember they fucking what they did was Oscar was going through what Oscar was going through, right? So while he was doing that, they went over there and threw a bunch of money at those guys and some fight dates. Because what they did, that's how they got sued by Top Rank and Bob Arum. Because what they did, they ran around to all the networks and bought up all the fight dates. So they had money from investors and they had a bunch of fight dates. So they threw a bunch of money at those guys, and those guys needed to eat. So they came over and fought and made money, as they should have. But
Right.
they couldn't. What they did was they monopolized the sport by buying all the fight dates from all the channels, and you can't do that. That's why
Right.
Bob sued. That's why Bob won, because you can't do that.
Man, I don't know. I don't know, but we know, and I don't know what's up with this TKO league. There's been no real. Maybe they're just going slow. There's been no real kind of.
Well, the good thing for them is this: they don't need anybody. They don't need HBO. They don't need CBS or anybody because they got their own network. They got Netflix.
Right. If Netflix decides to work with
But
them,
that's where UFC's going, right? UFC's on Netflix, right?
are they? I don't know.
Yeah, they're
I
leaving.
thought
They're leaving ESPN.
UFC's still on Fox, aren't they? Don't they have like a
No,
Fox or like
no, they're
a
leaving
ESPN
ESPN.
deal?
They're leaving.
Oh,
Everything's going to streaming now. Everything's going to streaming.
Wow. Well, these. I wonder how much these networks are sweating right now because they're going to collapse.
Not really, because the network still got football and basketball and baseball. They don't need boxing or UFC. They don't need that shit.
For now.
Forever. Football, basketball, and baseball will always be more popular than UFC and boxing.
Right.
Always.
But it might move to streaming as well. I don't know what the
I don't know if streaming. Some of it has, because you got some on Prime now. You got the Thursday night games on Prime. Netflix has the Christmas game. So they're getting a piece. But if they can't compete with NBC and Fox with the billions, they'll never get it.
Right.
That last NFL contract, something like $20 billion. They can't compete with that.
Right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's crazy though. If everything's on Netflix at some point, like all of it.
Yeah.
There's that Netflix and Amazon will just be ruling everything.
Yeah. Looks like it.
Like
have you heard anything? You're in New York. Have you heard anything about where Bob's gonna go?
No, I know Top Rank is like, they're annoying, man. They flag every video I do with their content now. Literally ever since they announced that they're leaving ESPN, then I started, like, any video I put up, even from old, because they have the rights to a lot of ESPN videos now. Because I had a meeting with a dude from ESPN pitching a show, which never happened, but I was talking to him and I'm like, yeah, he's like, yeah, they're a little perturbed. So as soon as their contract ends, they'll stop flagging me. They flag any like ESPN Classics video I put up because I guess they have rights to it now.
Right.
But once their contract ends, I guess they can't do it because I know ESPN owns it.
Isn't this the last one? The Shakur deal? Isn't that the last fight on the thing?
I don't know. I know it's very soon. I don't know when it is exactly. I hope it is, and they'll stop fucking flagging me.
No, I think their last big show is the Xander Zayas show on the 26th.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's another fight that's going to be at the Garden, Marco. Maybe you can.
Is it going to be at the Hula Room or the Garden? Is it going to be in the Garden or the Hula Room?
It's going to be the small one, of course.
Yes, Hula Room.
They used to be called the Paramount the theater. I don't know what they call it now. When I went to go see Roy fight Bryant Brandon, and that was called the Paramount at the time, or the theater.
Yeah.
It has like, it has that iconic, like, the ceiling has that iconic, whatever the fuck you call it, like neon strip lights.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. When is it? The 26th of July?
I believe so. Yes.
Oh shit.
Zaz is fighting some other guy. They're fighting for a vacant, right?
I don't know.
Correct. They're fighting for shit.
The WBO, I think, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Zayas. How do you spell Zayas?
Zayas. Exactly how it sounds.
Zayas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's right. And it's on the 26th?
I think so, yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay, let's see if I could get oh, we got young Samurai Yayan.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that about the Top Ranks rights, because I noticed Bud started a YouTube channel, and literally in the last 2 days he started uploading all his old Top Rank fights, like every single marquee championship fight he's uploaded on there.
And they're not flagging him. He probably has
Apparently
rights to do
not.
that. Yeah, that's where
He better not.
he uploaded that video with me in it, with me and Shaq and everybody. That's where I got it from. I got it from his page, or somebody told me about. One of you
Bud
guys.
got a channel now?
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel. He
And
posts
I'm on
little
it.
vlogs and shit.
What's his channel
I think
called,
it's called
Bud?
Terrence Bud Crawford.
Official or some shit.
No shit. All
You
right.
should. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's just an extra revenue stream. Why the fuck not?
Yeah,
You know
and it's
what I mean?
all those old fights of his career are on there. They're literally like, it was almost like he went to the Top Rank YouTube channel, ripped them off, and like just posted them on his channel. Like, it still have all the Top Rank logos
Right.
and shit on it and everything.
Teach. So like,
But didn't they say Bud ain't ever fought nobody? Ain't that what they said?
he fought a lot of people. Teach. So Ryan is one of the people that might be a little more known. But just because you heard people talking about him once on the train, like, we're talking about like the majority. Like, if you take 10,000 people or 5,000 people and ask all of them, I think the majority won't know who Ryan Garcia are.
Y'all know who the first boxer with a YouTube page, right?
Who?
First boxer with a YouTube page. I don't. Let me try and figure this out. The first boxer to ever have a YouTube page? Oh yeah, of course.
Marcos Maidana?
No. The guy The guy who Marcos Maidana kicked the shit out of.
Adrian Broner?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Oh shit.
And that's smart, because he was marketing himself well back then. Like, yo, I had my YouTube. If you go to my YouTube page now, one of the videos that I got with the most views, I got like 200,000 views. It was me hitting the heavy bag back in my prime. I'm like 28, 29. This is before YouTube paid. There was no monetizing.
Oh, okay.
And 200,000 views back in like 05 or whenever that was a lot. I had people like in the boxing gyms like, yo, I saw your like, they knew who I was from that, because 200,000 then was like 5 million, 10 million now, because there were so many less watchers back in the early 2000s.
So you're like Kelly Pavlik's age. You're around that age.
I am 48. Whatever.
Yeah, you're around Kelly Pavlik. Yeah.
Or maybe we're the same.
Maybe a little bit. He's like 46, I think, 47.
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah, you're about the same age. You guys about the same age.
Yeah, we got the same hairstyle too.
Yes, you do.
Alberto said he will cam up for number 2 from Burger King. Oh, I got you, CJ. Appreciate you, big dog. You're the man. Wow.
Hey, CJ, I saw your comment in the chat. Just so you know, some super chats, if you use certain keywords, it won't let you super chat it. So if you're having trouble, maybe that's why.
What's the topic today?
We're just going all over, but it's the fights coming up. It's the fights that are coming up this weekend. Is the real topic.
I'm excited for that Matias Puello fight. I think that's going to be the fight of the night.
Yeah, I don't think enough people talking about that fight.
Puello, huh? Yeah, I don't know that much about Puello. Of course, Matias I know, but he was one of those guys that like was hot for a split second, and then he was hot and then forgot.
Yeah, didn't he like win the belt? Then he like lost it immediately.
He lost to somebody he shouldn't have lost to. He had like he knocked everybody out. He didn't he
I
put some
mean, Perro was,
He killed somebody, yeah.
He kind of a good fighter.
So he was like a boogeyman, literally, but then he was this quick. Remember, he was like, "Oh, Teofimo, pussy." He was like just shitting on everybody, and then just he fell out of.
He called Devin Haney a chicken.
But all these guys also moved up. Like, is he still at 140? He is, right?
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, he's at 140.
Puello at 140.
Right. All these other guys, fucking 147. So, shit. What up, Tyson?
Nothing much. Staying good, staying blessed.
Shit. Give me some of those.
Yeah, Matias has a smaller frame, so he's like a real true 140-pounder. I don't think he cuts all that much weight. I think it's gonna be interesting because he normally fights for the IBF ranked fights, and this is gonna be for the WBC belt. So I wonder if that rehydration is gonna help him out in this this one.
I mean, at 140, Tio still got some good competition he can fight.
Tio, yeah, but I think Tio's going to 47, isn't he?
I don't know. I feel like he's too small for 47.
I agree. I completely agree, but I think that's what he's doing. You know?
I don't see that playing out well. I just don't. Like, he's really good, but at a high level, fighting like he's not gonna be fighting people like Brian Norman Jr. or Boots. Like, I just don't see that. I don't see him lining up with Boots and it ending well. Like, a lot of people take, Boots is only 3 inches taller than Devin Haney, so him and Devin Haney should be able to fight. Boots is gonna knock Devin Haney the fuck out. Like, it's not because it's the same thing people say with the Canelo and Terrence Crawford. He's bigger than Devin Haney. Like, it's not the same thing.
Wait, you mean Boots or do you mean Brian Norman?
Either or. Like, it's just it's less of a weight thing and more of like size, not even height. Like, yeah.
Like their frame, yeah.
Yeah, his frame is his frame. Like, Devin, like, people don't understand when you train to fight at a certain weight class, you're trained to use your weight the best you can. YouTube is not letting you super chat because they don't want. That's tough. That's tough. We don't want Alberto to come up. It's crazy.
Alberto's not even in here right now. Boots has to fight someone already. He's fighting. Well, he's not fighting anybody, is he? Am I forgetting? He doesn't have any fights lined up, does he?
No, he's not fighting anybody.
No.
No fights on the horizon. On the new Roy Jones.
Huh? I don't get it. Did you just speak blasphemy on a Sunday?
That's crazy.
Hey, bro, they call Boots the new Roy Jones. I don't know where you've been, Marco.
I've always disagreed with that. Right?
I can see it, like, stylistically.
I can see it.
How?
Like,
bro, like, come on, Marco. Like, fighters can be compared to other fighters.
No. They can, just not those two. All right. Roy Jones would move. He'd leap in. Roy Jones had a little more similarity to maybe even Floyd Schofield. Boots is always stationary. He does the fucking Roy. He does the James Toney.
Oh, the Roy Jones. You just said it.
Nah, I made a mistake. But Boots is stationary. Roy was always moving. He was leaping in. I don't see that. Even the way they punch, Boots is more of like a whop, whop. Roy was like a quick twitch. I don't see it at all. And I love Boots. I don't even think that's not like a diss. That'd be a compliment, but I just don't see it.
I mean, yeah.
It's just a lot of fans who've seen Roy Jones knock out Vinny Pazienza, saw him do that with like his hands down, and they just see a really athletic black guy leaping in, and they think, oh, that's exactly Roy Jones. What are you talking about? I've never seen a Roy Jones fight in my life.
Right.
To be fair,
Boots never leaps in. Ever.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't believe that either. I just want to like
Fuck with me? Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Who's this black guy knocking people out? This has to be Roy Jones.
Appreciate you, CJ. Boots
That's-
isn't
that's
special
funny.
like RJ.
Y'all must have forgot.
He knows. Nah, Boots is special. I
You
actually do
said
think
Jim Jones.
Boots isn't Roy level, but Boots is like I think Boots is a great fighter. I see a little bit of Roy, a little bit in Schofield, the way he leaps in very explosively.
What do you have with Schofield, bro? I now that I don't see at all.
So you heard what I said.
What?
One thing I see, the way he leaps in explosively and quickly. That's
yeah,
it.
but you be big up in this dude like he's some amazing fighter.
What's going
Again,
on, Marco?
I see spurts of it. Right? He's not the whole package yet, but I see spurts of greatness in Schofield.
What's going on, Marco?
What's up, Raf? What's going on?
Nothing, man. Nothing, man. Just haven't been on in a while, but I remember mentioning Schofield for the Shakur fight, and you were skeptical about it. I had mentioned that that was probably going to be the matchup of the night, and a lot of people dismissed it. I kept saying like, listen, that this is a very underrated matchup, and a lot of people are dismissing Schofield based on his last performance, but that fight would have told us a lot of things about Shakur.
And Schofield.
That fight proved that to me. I mean, I kind of get the sense of what Schofield really is already. A lot of people, are married to the last performance at the end of the day, but with Shakur, it's a matter of pretty much, yes, of course, he's very defensively sound, he's very has very cat-like reflexes, but can he fight? Schofield is athletic enough and has quick enough feet that I wanted to see if he can make him fight, and what was Shakur's response going to be to that. So that's starting to look like more of an interesting matchup than a lot of people were predicting earlier ago.
Yeah, I agree.
I can tell you right now, bro, because Shakur would control, like he would dictate the pace the whole fight. He wouldn't be able to do nothing with Shakur, bro.
You might have a point, but if one of those shots land, what happens?
Here's the thing that people are quickly to dismiss. We've seen not once but twice on how Shakur fights when he has an opponent that can punch. And I'm not talking about these punchers, they're flat-footed, they need to sit down on their punches. We're talking about people that are dynamic and actually can punch on the fly and don't necessarily need to, sit on their punches. These are the people that may have or give Shakur problems. We just want to see how is he going to react when you have someone that is not flat-footed and has quick feet just as he does.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the ingredients are there for him to outclass Schofield because Schofield does leap in, and Shakur is patient. Shakur's way more patient, but that's a great fight. It's a great
It's
fight.
not a great fight, bro. I've been saying the smallest little dude, bro. That dude is not good.
I mean,
so who? I'm sorry, Marco. Who would give Shakur a tough matchup then?
Any top guy. I think Tio, Devin,
Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn, all the guys that he doesn't want to fight.
I think people like that, bro.
Just not Schofield.
Come on.
Honestly, I don't know if it's crazy to say. I put Floyd Schofield and Abdullah Mason on the same level.
Yeah,
that's not ridiculous, but I think Mason is proved that he's better.
I feel like he just has more experience so far, but I feel like as along a fighter, like currently, like they haven't really. Their career basically just started. Abdullah Mason, he fights like he almost fight every month, almost like every month or two.
I understand, but you also have to count the level of competition. Like he's fighting cab drivers. So
yeah, that's what I was about to say. They got like almost.
And not only that, he is also fighting guys who are a lot shorter than him and a lot shorter arms than him, which is why I give him credit for that Jeremiah Nakatilia fight, because it was actually fighting a guy for once that was even if he might not have been the same skill level, he was of comparable size.
And that's the dude that gave Shakur trouble, so that's a good win.
Precisely.
Yeah, man.
Hey, stay with you. You got to be trolling.
Let me Let me give the roll call real quick. The panelists are Mo Brains, the Samurai, Tyson, and Raphael from the Boogie Down. Go ahead.
Yo. But I just wanted to say this. Styles styles makes fights, and this is why, based on experience and watching boxing for a while, I call these way ahead of time. This should have been Schofield's and Golden Boy's plan from the beginning. The same thing they did to Zepeda was fighting Tevin Farmer first because that was going to give you more of a glimpse of styles. I'm not saying that Tevin is Shakur. What I'm saying that he's a left-handed fighter that's slick, that can, is quick, has good reflexes, very defensively sound, and you can kind of, make a step up fight with him before matching them against Shakur. I think they just jumped the gun, and it looked bad on their end. But now we can say that that could be an interesting matchup. The only reason that I'm saying, because I do like Shakur, is Shakur's punching power. If Shakur could actually did have some really, really good punching power, then you would have to say like people may be able to respect him a little bit as opposed to just trying to see what they
Yeah.
can do.
And the punching power is just going to deteriorate as he goes up in weight. At least one would assume.
I don't see him going up in weight. I feel
Yeah,
like
me neither.
I feel like Shakur, just like Tank, he's littler. Like 135 is like him and Tank's division, like size wise. I feel like he came up. Shakur came up. Like it's not like he didn't even come into boxing at 135. He made like most of his fights came from, wasn't it 130? Like
Yeah, 126, 130.
126. Yeah, he came up prior to this. I feel like 135. If he does move up, I think
It's only gonna be
I don't see him moving up to 147. I think 140 is probably where he stops. But
So no, go ahead. My bad. That's my bad.
like you said though, I think definitely with Shakur fighting Zepeda, I think that's a good track because if he beats Zepeda and Tevin Farmer already fought Floyd Schofield, I think it does set up a fight between them because Zepeda and Tevin Farmer are common opponents. So it's like, okay, you just beat William Zepeda, I just beat Tevin Farmer. Let's fight. I think it's a good fight that definitely could happen.
So when it comes to punching power, I learned this a while ago. A lot of these fighters, you might have them have, and I'll make a couple of examples with this. When you look at the wrists, you tend to know pretty much if these people are going to have really good bone density and that's going to translate with punching power. A good example of this is David Benavidez. If you look at his hands, the guy is speedy, the guy throws a lot of punches and bunches, but the guy doesn't really carry that one punch power. Manny Pacquiao is another example where he's short, it kind of was small for his division, but if you look at his wrists and his hands, they're very big hands. The same thing with Roberto Duran's. Unfortunately, Shakur, despite him being maybe tall and lengthy, his bone density is not there, and that's what probably doesn't translate in him having that punching power.
I don't know. I mean, I have tiny fucking hands and I hit hard as shit. So
I think it's the fact his hands always hurt. That's why he don't get knockouts.
Maybe the wrists, because I have thick wrists, but I have small hands. Yeah. Well, no, he definitely. When your hands hurt, I've done this. Like you're gonna pull back slightly when you throw, and when you feel the impact, you're not gonna try and punch. I always tell you guys when you hit in the bag or anything, you want to punch through whatever it is. Don't just hit it and then go back. Some people punch it, go boom, and they do this shit. That fucking drives me crazy. That's garbage. That's Adrian Broner showing off bullshit. I don't know if he did that, but that's something he would do. But it also takes away from getting the maximum power. You have to punch through, go all the way through. Look at the way Bud punches. But when your hands hurt, you just can't do that. So that makes sense.
I think as a Shakur hater, I think he could go up to 140 and run that shit. I think he could run 140. To be honest with
Because
you,
all them dudes, come on, man. I'm telling you, all them dudes is not on his level, bro.
Bro, 140 is too much with him. If he faces like Gary Anton Russell,
Come on, man.
it's a wrap.
Oh my
he'd make
god.
Gary Antoine Russell look like he was parking cars that morning. Come on now.
I don't
Like,
know,
come on, bro.
man. Wait,
All he do is throw punches,
which
bro.
is the
Like,
fast one? Is that him?
yeah, he the fast
Nah,
one.
that's Gary Russell Jr.
Oh, whichever one
I
just
mean,
fought that was
he
throwing mad
fast
fast
too.
punches. That dude is nice. I confuse all of them.
You talking about the
Hey,
one that fought Ryo?
The one that fought
Yeah,
like 3-4 months ago,
Ryo.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, he beat
The one
Ryo
that
like
fought Ryo,
12-0.
that's
that
Gary Anton Russell.
that one is nice. But
but
they're
if
not.
Pollo can outbox Gary Antoine Russell, if Pollo can outbox Gary Antoine Russell, what do you think Shakur could do?
That's true. That's true. No, Shakur's a tough matchup for anybody because of his defense. But what we're talking about is the offense. You know, does he have the offense to fuck with power punchers? Serious power punchers. Because has he ever been in there with somebody who's a high level, top tier power puncher?
You also have to look at the fact that Puello is a much you know girthier, no homo, bigger guy than what Shakur be coming up
But
in weight.
yeah, we get that. But Shakur is the better fighter by far. So it's like,
I don't know. He is on paper, but you
on
know,
paper.
yeah, he is on paper. On paper.
I'm
I mean,
telling y'all,
at the end of the
my boy
day,
be naughty.
at the end of the day, I think I agree, Ian. At the end of the day, I think Shakur's going to stay at 135 as long as he can because he's still holding out for that tank sweepstakes.
Right. Which
Yeah, I could see like soon as like Shakur move up, that's when like Tank could try to fight him. Or as soon as he lose or have a bad performance, I think that's when he'll try to fight him.
I'll tell you guys this. I would not be surprised if Tank retires. Would any
Yeah, I think he gonna retire in the next year.
No, I think he might not fight again.
Quick
Oh, you talking
question.
about
Quick
not fighting
question.
at all?
Yeah, I think he
Are
might
you,
not fight at all. He might
are
come
you
back
guys
in 3 or 4 years, but I think he might not have another fight now.
are you guys going to the Berlanga fight? Because I'm seeing tickets as low as like $50, $60.
I was thinking about it, like we were just talking about that. I got denied for press credentials. So for me, like, I don't know. And that's deep. Like, are you still in the Bronx, Raf?
Nah, man, Bushwick.
Okay, so for that's a fucking mission all the way out to the Queens. It's not that bad, I guess, but that's kind of a mission. I don't know. Are you going?
Thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it too, but I don't know. I don't know. I never
See,
even I didn't even know they had a theater. Like that's right next to where they played the tennis thing. I didn't know they had another one right there.
this is what people are talking about. These fucking New Yorkers, they wait for the last minute to buy their fucking tickets. That's why this shit looks so bad on paper.
Well, that's because we don't want to go to begin with. We're all so it's like our
Why is that?
mentality is right, Ralph. You weren't going to go, but then when you're like, oh, it's super
Yeah.
cheap, maybe.
Yeah, I mean the Garcia Haney fight, I made a decision the night of, like the day
Right.
of. I was like, like either I may or may not. So a lot of New Yorkers is like that.
Yeah, we just don't want to go. Like I don't want to go because you guys know the reasons for me. I would go if I was fucking credentialed. I'd go in a second because to me, I'm excited to go. And I still might. I don't know. Probably not though. You guys know I'm like a scorned fucking I'm like a scorned ex. All these fucking denials I've been getting been pissing me off. I'm almost like fuck you then I'm not going to go to your fight.
Yeah,
Which
CJ funny.
What's that?
No, what CJ said that was pretty funny.
What do you say? Berlanga can't sell out a high school gym. Nah, he's the king of New York. CJ, you forgot?
Hey, I want to say something about that video Sheeraz did. You could he could have interviewed 150 people and just picked 3 and the dude that knew him and said nobody knows Berlanga.
Absolutely, he could have, but I believe I'm from there. I don't think most people know who he is because Times Square is the majority of them are tourists to begin with. Like, you know what I mean? They're tourists, so it's like you're not even getting New Yorkers. Although he
And
did
that
interview a couple.
Well, literally, one of the person that he literally interviewed was a fucking British guy from London who was a
Yeah.
tourist. So
The girl, the black girl, she was a New Yorker. She was funny. She was like, "Who the fuck is that?"
My thing is too, like you could go to London and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So you're
hey, it was
saying,
pretty funny though. It was
yeah,
funny. That was good promotion.
yeah, and you're saying that you think most people would know Berlanga?
No, no, no. I'm just saying, like, you can go to London and ask people, do they know Shiraz, and it's gonna be the same thing.
Can we talk for a minute? Oh wait, that's not Tevin Campbell, is it? Is it? Nah, you young guys wouldn't know. Never mind. Alberto's in
I
the
don't know.
house.
I don't think so. Alberto, join up.
Marco, can we finally discuss the money fighter always win argument?
Yeah, go ahead. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Okay,
I guess
so Raphael said like 2 months ago that the money fighter, meaning what? The fighter that makes more money?
I would assume the
no,
favorite, right?
no.
The A
When I
side.
say when I say the money fighter, I mean the fighter that could generate the sport the most amount of money.
Okay, will always get a decision. Is that what you're saying?
There are exceptions, and I'll name them. There are exceptions, but they're gonna make sense when I explain it.
Okay, go ahead.
So the money fighter always wins. So when you have two fighters that are in a potential matchup, you'll see a lot of robberies or a lot of like in a close decisions. Usually the not the favorite is just the guy that can generate the most amount of money. Typically gets the nod because for the benefit of the betterment of the sport. You know, that's why I was mentioning. I think you mentioned Oscar versus Floyd. You said that was an exception, and I
Just
said
one.
no. And I said no. You have to look at it from the money perspective. Yes, Oscar is the favorite. Technically speaking, he is a money fighter, but realistically speaking, how long is Oscar going to be the money fighter for? You're bringing in a new generation that's going to generate the sport more money.
Okay.
So you bring in Floyd. It's the same thing with Lomachenko versus Haney. You know, if I went to that fight, the whole 16,000 people was chanting Loma, Loma. However, you have to look at it as who has been marketed as the next guy coming up. It's
Mm,
Haney. He's the guy that's making the sport money. It's the same thing with Canelo versus Triple G.
okay.
Triple G was a champion. Canelo was a marketing guy, but Triple G is 35 going into 36. He's about to retire soon. It's for the benefit of the sport that you have a guy like Canelo take on the W and actually generate the sport more money.
So basically, you saying out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever generates the sports more money. I mean, I think Floyd, when he went to court right before going to jail, he decided to say that he was going to fight Cotto, and his attorney argued that every time that Floyd fights in Vegas, it generates like upwards of $1 billion or something like that. So it's just not just what's happening in the ring; it's the casino, the business, everything that's happening all around.
So who
Raphael, I
is?
totally disagree.
Well, let me ask this, and I want you say what you have to say, Mo. But so who is orchestrating this whole scheme? Is it the promoters? Like who's the person pressing the button? Like, nah, this so and so is winning.
I think it's a whole. I think it doesn't all work in like it's not a single entity doing this.
Because if this is the case, then somebody has to be going to the referees and being like, look, make sure so and so wins. Or not the referee, excuse me, the judges.
No, it's preference. It's preference. It's just how Teddy Atlas has mentioned it. You know, a lot of these judges get preferential treatment when it comes to getting, certain suites, first class tickets, getting sweetheart deals, any favors that get done along the way. And maybe we don't we we haven't seen anyone get caught yet. But at the end of the day, we don't really know because we have seen really bad scoring.
I'm sorry, Clarisa's killing me with these fucking comments. But there still has to be somebody. So you're saying the judges themselves are just like, we want boxing to do better, so let me pick the money guy?
No, I'm just saying that the lens of what you're judging with it kind of favors the money fighter. It's just it's
So
almost
you're saying
like
it's
dark.
subconscious. They're subconsciously thinking, I want the money fighter to win.
Possibly, but let's take a look at this example. Oscar de la Hoya, 20 years later, talked about the Tito Trinidad and his fight in the year 2000 or 1999, and he was saying that pretty much, not quote unquote, but he implied that some of those judges got paid off, and the only one that benefited out of that whole deal was Don King. And Bob Arum has openly stated that he didn't benefit out of that whole matchup at all with that ruling.
I mean,
but doesn't that kind of go against your whole thesis though? Because then the sport didn't make more money. Don King made more money, and you brought up a good example about the Devin Haney Loma fight. So look at how let's game this out. The facts of how that fight turned out. That was the last fight Devin Haney had with Top Rank. Loma was Top Rank's baby, but somehow Devin Haney won, and then not only did he win, he didn't go on to make a bunch of money for the sport. He won. He had one fight for DAZN, and now he's just been fighting these the ring fights, and his stock has gone down since then.
Can I interject on that? So
go right ahead.
You're making a good point when you're looking at it from that point of view. My whole understanding of it is that, number one, you have to look at how Devin Haney has been marketed throughout his career. The Dream Haney, there's a lot of money behind him, and you have to understand how the money moves. It's not just him going up. You have to look at. I think it was Paulie Malignaggi that explained that in order to market and push a fighter, you need money behind them, and not money just the marketing aspect. Is you have to pay older champions money in order to push that fighter up. Like, for example, Canelo versus Shane Mosley. Who do you think is putting up that money? Like, it's just not a random. It's the networks. Then because they want to see the other fighter push up. Lomachenko is at the twilight of his career. You need Devin Haney to beat Loma to put him at the top because he's the next guy coming up. Like, you think?
I agree.
Wait,
I agree. But let's game this out.
But let me finish my point. You really think that it benefited boxing Ryan Garcia beating Haney?
Keep it going, guys. I'm gonna step away, but keep it going.
Yeah.
You really think that it?
Yes, I think it did because Ryan is the bigger money fight. That's why.
So if you look at marketability aspect, it does because A, Ryan is marketable. B, on top of him being marketable, is an upset win over a guy like Devin. But when you look at the fact that Ryan is extremely difficult to control, he's very erratic. He pulls shit out of his ass all the time. He's very unpopular within like the boxing press and community. You can say that it's almost difficult to control, so it would benefit them having Haney getting that win over him. So I have to disagree with that. Unless you knock out Haney out or like overwhelmingly beat him, like you're not getting a decision over him.
Now, I'll agree with you, and I will say that house fighters exist and promoters do things to protect their fighters and ensure that, maybe if it comes down to one swing round, a judge that they happen to take to a steak dinner, he might sway towards their fighter. I'm just saying in that specific instance, okay, let's say the Devin Haney Loma fight went the other way. Loma became the undisputed lightweight champion. Do you think what makes more money for the sport? Devin Haney becoming undisputed, vacating the titles, and then moving up to 140? Or does it make more sense that Loma wins the titles, he becomes undisputed, and then goes and defends those titles against Tank Davis? What
No,
makes more money for the sport?
he
Because that's
you
what
guys
happened.
but you guys are thinking short term. This is what I'm trying to explain. This is the perfect example with Triple G versus Canelo. Triple G has a handful of fights in his hands coming up. Canelo has a whole decade to make the sport money. And this is what you guys like I'm trying to explain. Devin Haney is a young fighting Lomachenko. He's a young 25, 26-year-old that has probably a whole decade to build up on his legacy. Lomachenko coming up to the fight, they were already stating like, does he have one more fight in him for greatness? Is because you don't know how long he's gonna be in the sport. You don't know how much longer he can make the sport money. You need Devin Haney to carry the torch.
What about the Kovalev Ward first fight? Like, wouldn't it have made more sense for Kovalev to get that win, which he deserved, because wasn't he was the knockout puncher? He was a bigger fighter than
Kovalev, yeah, but
no?
Kovalev wasn't marketable. Got out of Russia, the crusher. But you look at Ward
marketable. Ward doesn't really talk.
Well, it was HBO that put Ward in a bad position for that because he couldn't get the Triple G fight. The next best fight was him fighting Kovalev, a division over him. And let's not forget, if you listen to Ward, what he said afterwards, he was actually thinking about going up to cruiserweight or heavyweight right after because he finally got over the hump on the marketability aspect. So if you look at it from that side, it makes a little bit of sense. As far as Kovalev, we've seen it with a bunch of Eastern European fighters. They never get a fair shake when it comes to the judges. They got to knock dudes out, especially when you're fighting.
I don't think what you're saying happens just for the fact that it would take so many moving parts and so many people to have the same mentality and be a part. It would have to be an orchestrated event, right? Because there's so many different things that go into somebody winning or losing. And I feel like if it was one person calling the shots, yeah, maybe you're right.
I understand. I completely understand your point, Marco. But you have to look at it. Maybe it's not the promoters. Maybe it's not necessarily one entity, but you have to look at the networks. The networks are the ones that are putting up the money, and they're the ones that are looking to benefit the most out of those fights.
Right, but we're talking like racketeering mob shit almost.
Yeah,
and we judges and be like, yo, look, let me tell you, come here, slide a little envelope, so and so's gonna win, right? That's what has to be done.
And we haven't heard any type of racketeering, type of shady business happen within boxing. Like we did see the IBF. We did see the IBF get indicted for racketeering and a bunch of other charges for finagling with the promoters and the rankings. Mm-hmm. So the business of boxing within itself is shady, is unregulated. There's a lot of things that do happen. It just I don't have proof out of it. This is just my opinion of it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I think that does happen sometimes, but
hey, it happened with Marvin Hagler and Leonard. That 100% happened.
But you can argue that wasn't because he's a big money. You can argue because he was doing he was just charming people. He was visually charming them.
Okay, let me ask you this, and I'll end it with this. How does Canelo fighting Floyd Mayweather, a 36-year-old Mayweather, for that big fight, how does he get a 114 with Adelaide Bird?
She's known to be basura. She's known to judge in a big heaping, sticking pile of basura.
But why is she there?
Bro, you're doing exact opposite, because if that's if what you're saying is true, then Canelo should have won that fight because he was the more marketable one. He was the one that was on the upswing.
But how? There's no way that you can tilt that fight. So it was so lopsided. You can't really do that. And just having that 114 scorecard just kind of proves my point that, if that fight would have been closer, like if it would have been like a toss up, you don't know if Canelo would have gotten that decision.
Well, I don't know. You could look at that fight both ways. Floyd was still because he fought another 4 years. Did he retire at 40? I believe.
No, I mean he fought after the Canelo. I think he fought Maidana afterwards, and then he fought Maidana twice, and then I believe he fought Pacquiao, and then
McGregor and Berto. So he
no
so
no
he,
the McGregor doesn't count. That he had retired after Berto.
no, that was a pro fight. That was his 50th. That counts.
Yeah, no, I don't count it. That
I
was
mean,
that
I
was
get what
special.
you're saying, but the point is, at the time, Mayweather was still at the top, so I would think he's the money guy, right? At the time, unless you're
Yeah, but
saying,
if you're looking at the boxing aspect of it, if you're looking at it business wise, it would benefit Canelo to actually beat Floyd because you're thinking that Floyd is 36 years old and he doesn't have much in the business.
mhm.
So, if you have Floyd only has 3-4 years left. The only thing that was interesting about it was the Pacquiao fight had not been made yet.
Right.
The only exception that I can actually name is the Pacquiao Timothy Bradley. That I just can't explain that one.
Look, there's been times like when Pacquiao fought Bradley, the first fight, I actually had Bradley winning or a draw. I did. Maybe I'm crazy, but to me, I really saw the announcers on some shit. They would show a replay, right, in slow motion, and wow, Pacquiao shots, the way his speed and accuracy, and I'm seeing Bradley with my own eyes hit him too, and they're acting like it didn't even happen. So I've seen times where announcers are clearly biased for some reason. That does happen. So is that a whole, like my man Tone says, a deeper, darker criminal link? Or is it just people who have their own bias? That's the difference. Having your own bias isn't as bad as if there's an orchestrated mob style biased hit being like, no. You know what I'm saying? So is it personal biased or is it a deeper, darker, bigger picture?
I mean, those HBO guys and those Showtime guys, those were good company men, Marco. So it wasn't just that fight. It was always
You
glaze
just cut
them
out.
and
All I heard you say was they're big company men and what?
yeah, I was saying the HBO commentary and the Showtime commentary were always good company men. So if there was ever if they would always glaze the house fighter,
I mean,
I don't think that's any personal thing. I think they were just good company men.
You hear it now with the Zone. They're I'm sorry, man. If you know anyone in there, Marco, I'm sorry, but they're awful, man.
No,
They're
I
really
don't.
bad.
I don't.
They're really bad. Like
I'm trying,
I used to think that Tim was bad at commentating. I hear those guys like Sergio Mora and Chris Mannix, like they're really bad. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I want that job. I was thinking that. Yeah, man. I'm more like he's a fighter, was a fighter, so he has that respect and credential. But as a commentator, he's not awful, but he's not good. Mannix one who yells when gets all excited when shit happens. I think that's him, or maybe
They all do that now, Marco. Joe Tessitore or Ronaldo.
Tess. I think it's Tess. Yeah, him. I kind of like him.
Yeah, he goes outrageous.
But it seems authentic to me. It doesn't seem like he's trying. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Nah, man. I remember growing up seeing him commentate on Friday night fights and Wednesday night fights. I'm sure there was a lot of moments in those those cards where he could yell, and it's just that style because they're basically ripping off the UFC style of commentary. They're doing a bad Joe Rogan impersonation now. That's what all the commentary teams do in boxing now.
I mean, Joe Rogan to me is.
I mean, with me, they lost me when Berlanga knocked out McCrory, and then they was like, oh my God, we got a new contender for Canelo, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, that might have been a bit of what you're talking about because they knew because Berlanga should have never fought Canelo.
But that's what I'm saying. Don't you think the networks get involved in actually influencing how all this plays out? Doesn't that make my point as far as like, hey, listen, the networks are trying to make money, so they're going to push either A, the refs, or B, the promoters, and actually doing that dirty work.
Yeah.
And obviously we're not gonna know. Like there would have been evidence maybe 50, 20, 30 years from now that all that shit will come out, but it's not gonna be in plain sight.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. That's possible. I just, I don't know if that's why I wish we had a league, man. If we had a league, all that shit would be obsolete. You know, everybody's working for the same team, so it wouldn't matter. They would want the league to do well, not a specific fighter. Although maybe not, because like when Jordan was doing what Jordan did, he clearly didn't get fouled as much. You know what I mean? Like they wanted him to do his thing because he's the one who brought the money and the people and the eyeballs. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't watch much UFC, Marco, but from what I do ancillary know about the UFC, a lot of the problems that exist in boxing, they exist in the UFC too. It's mostly the same shit. There's a lot of protected fighters. The fighters who have a more appealing style are the ones that are promoted more. They're the ones who catch more breaks. They get more favorable treatment. Like, I don't know. I think it's simply a matter of how much control the promoters have over compelling fighters to fight the fights that they want, But
No,
and the other thing about the UFC now is that a lot of people are saying that, oh, the UFC doesn't make stars anymore and all these other things. And I think people don't understand that to have a single fighter be a quote unquote star and have as much leverage in the negotiating table as like a Canelo or a Tank or a Floyd doesn't help the sport, because now these fighters pillage the promotional companies like coffers. Like they don't want a fighter to get bigger than the league because then it's harder to control them. You know what I mean? Like, why would you want a Floyd when you could have 50 Shakurs? You know what I'm saying?
That was my whole point with Ryan
CJ's
Garcia.
CJ's
If
coming
you
for your head, Mo. He wants to come for your head. Appreciate you, CJ.
That was my whole point with Ryan Garcia. You imagine Ryan Garcia being the face of boxing? You imagine the fucking, like, how uncontrollable that would be? It would be mayhem. It would benefit him, getting the fuck out, He's marketable, but he does whatever the hell he wants. And that doesn't benefit the sport of boxing in general. It benefits, the views and the clicks and all this stuff, but you can't tell that kid what to do. Like, he's just too much. But on a side note, I wanted to ask, I don't know if I missed this because I was out of the country, but is Jake Paul good for boxing?
Yes. Abso-fucking-lutely. 1,000,000,000%. Why wouldn't he be?
After the Chavez fight, I was just on Twitter I was actually in Poland, and I was just trying to see the fight, but I couldn't. But I was just looking at Twitter, and so many people pissed off about the fight and how Chavez was bought and all this, and I'm like,
Chavez isn't bought. Chavez has a long history of doing that, which is not really showing up.
If you look at his last fight, he fought an MMA guy, and he did the exact same thing or worse.
Yeah, and against Sergio Martinez, he kind of did the same thing. Tried a little more, but the second he saw Martinez was going to give him some problems, he kind of just fucking put it in neutral.
So I feel like Jake is doing exactly what every other boxer that has done coming up. Is just it's magnified so much because he is the quote unquote YouTube star that it just rubs people the wrong way.
I think he's great for boxing. I think he is fucking amazing. Anything that generates more interest and more money is good. Anything, as long as it's not, like Tio's racist shit and all that. That's no good. But in terms of just Jake's a real. So Jake is creating all this interest, bringing all these new eyeballs, bringing a whole new demographic. But he's also working hard, right? You see him in the gym. You hear all the stories. As long as he's working, putting the work in, I think he's great for it. He would be bad for it if he's doing, coming in, just talking and not really working. And then when he fights, he doesn't try. Like, this kid tries. He gives it his all when he fights. It's not his fault Chavez didn't throw punches. it is his fault that he picks people like Chavez or like Silva or like Perry or whoever the fuck. That's his fault. But at the same time, what is he, 12 fights in? A lot of guys up to 15, almost 20 fights in will fight lesser competition. The difference is he's under the spotlight and he's taking famous lesser competition. Right?
His last two cards were great. Like, I don't know, this card was great. The Schofield fight, I like the Zerto fight. I forgot what other fights were on there.
The
But
problem with Jake Paul, guys, and I think it bothers all of us to some extent, is his level of skill and experience comes nowhere near his level of popularity and pay scale. That's what people have a problem with, especially fighters.
But what do you expect? Like, he just started boxing like at 21 or 20 years old. Like
he's been doing it 5 years, and he just made 60 million or whatever it was against Mike Tyson. I mean, but that's just like saying if Shaq or LeBron started boxing, like they already have a huge following. So it's not like he just built it. Ryan built it from boxing purely. Yeah. He was a YouTube dude, but it was all boxing.
Now
Marco,
what's up? Go ahead, Jamal.
Go ahead, Rafael.
No, I was gonna ask, and my bad. I just wanted to get this question out of the way. How is this different than Butterbean back in the day?
Because Butterbean, one, only fought 4-rounders, right? So he was limiting himself. 2, he was obese, right? So him being obese, and he was white, which being obese and white and 4-rounders, it matters that he's white because it almost played into like that stereotype of like white people, which is kind of true. White people are probably the least successful race in boxing, like when you average it out, the least talented. So that's why Butterbean limiting himself. Jake is going up 10 rounds. Jake is working hard. His body shows that he's working hard. Butterbean gave the impression, even though he could knock motherfuckers out, and he actually didn't get tired in the ring, he visually gave the impression of being a circus show and that he didn't really work. And that's why he was worse. Jake is actually going through it the way people go through it. First a 4-rounder, then a 6-rounder, now a 10-rounder.
Hey, real quick, I only got like 5 minutes. I gotta get these miles in before it gets over 90 today in SAC. But yo, what up? What up to Marco? Salute to the panel. Mo, well, I guess I gotta pop out and co-host. Marco, I feel disrespected because you didn't even read my super chat directed at Mo out loud. I'm gonna say this. It basically said that I would love to debate you in a structured format, when we're not stepping over each other. Yeah, but I'm gonna wait till we actually have a genuine disagreement. I say that to say, like, I admire your intelligence and I think we could have a real good debate when we have a legitimate disagreement. But that's all I wanted to say for today, y'all. I'm out.
Well, my bad. I think I said that he's coming for your head, but yeah, I assumed he read it. I'll read.
No, I read it. Yeah, I read it.
No, he said I should have read it, which is true. I should have. I figured that you did see it, but I got you. I got you. Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, he's out. Look at that. He's the samurai, in and out. Yeah, so that's why I think the difference between Butterbean and Jake Paul. And Butterbean wasn't famous when he came in. He built his own fame through boxing. Like, he was on Mike Tyson. On him and Christy Martin were like the circus sideshows. And not to disrespect Christy, because she was really skilled, but it was at a time where just the thought of women's boxing was like a circus sideshow to people. So you had first a woman fighting, which everybody laughed at, kind of. Then you had an overweight carnival freak, and I'm not calling him that, but that's the impression at the time. So that's the difference. Jake, did his thing, but Jake's also a promoter now. He's also.
Well, Mark, I was going to ask you what, because a lot of people critique his the people that he fights, Jake Paul himself that he fights in these main events. But I asked myself, and I'm one of them, but I asked myself, would I rather him be like beating up some person that at least people know and care about and would sell and promote the main event or sell and promote the card? Or would I rather he be fighting the kind of competition that a fighter with that many fights would like? Would I want to see him knock out some journeyman with like, who's like 0-60? Like, no, fuck no, of course not, right? Like, So it's kind of like pick your poison type of deal.
Right. Well, Jake was also I guess what rubs people the wrong way about Jake is he was also picking inferior fighters. Almost bullying, almost, but they're getting paid a lot. You know what I mean? Like he's fighting guys way smaller, way older, or guys who just do not know the discipline of pugilism at all. So that's where people he rubbed them the wrong way. But he was smart because what's the difference between him doing that but picking famous people or somebody or like an Abdullah Mason fighting a quote unquote Uber driver? Like there's really no difference in terms of they're both equally less. They both have the same amount of chance to win, which is slim to none.
The only difference being what he's choosing people that are famous, at least.
Right, famous,
people give a shit
exactly.
about.
Right, and they're making a lot of money at least. Like Abdullah Mason's fighters are probably making the minimum $100 a round. You know what I'm saying? And they both have the same chance, the same likelihoods of winning, which is very small. So, but Jake is stepping it up. Like when he almost fought Hasim Rahman, I gave him props. I think Hasim would have beat him at that point. I think Hasim would have beat him. And because Hasim was also way bigger, but Hasim couldn't make the weight. And then I'm friends with Hasim, as you guys know, and he also tried to change the contract weight, and they instantly canceled the fight. They had no interest in fucking negotiating with him.
Well, I'll ask you, Marco, who do you want next for Jake Paul? Where does he go from here? Like, should he go after Badu Jack and Zerto, or?
I don't think he's ready. I think he should fight. The problem is, if he fights a contender, he'll probably lose. I don't think he can beat any top 10 cruiserweight. Do you?
Fuck no, dude.
Right.
He'd get destroyed.
So it's best he just goes for a title, because if he's going to lose, it might as well be against a titleist or a Canelo or a Tank, like somebody who he could be like, well, I'm supposed to lose.
I would rather see him fight Tank.
But if he loses to a number 8 contender that none of us have really heard of, that hurts him way more than if he loses to a Canelo or a Tank or a Badu Jack for a belt.
Well, my thinking of it is this: he can go and lose to a Badu Jack or Zerto, and then go fight Tank. But I don't think he can get away with fighting Tank first, losing, and then going, and then fighting Zerto and losing, whatever. You know what I mean?
Why? Because Tank's so much smaller?
Yeah, exactly. Like fighting Tank would be a step, or rather, fighting Zerto or Badu Jack would be a step back. You know what I'm saying?
If he loses to Badu Jack or Zurdo, his marketability goes down, because the people tuning in are people that don't really know much about boxing or don't know enough. So if he loses, then that matchup versus Tank or Canelo, it drops down, way down. So you got to strike when the iron is hot. You got to make those matchup now. Obviously for us that we tune into boxing, we're hardcore, we might be upset about it, but in order to make money, like with Netflix and get those bigger deals, you got to make those fights now. You can't be fighting Zurdo or those dangerous matchups, because I don't think he has a shot against any of those fighters.
No.
So you think he's going to fight Tank next?
If Tank beats Roach, maybe.
Tank and Roach aren't even scheduled to fight yet, so I don't think that's even viable.
Yeah, that fight might not even happen, bro.
I don't think it will. I think Tank's done for 2-3 years, maybe. Then he'll come back at like 34, and then maybe have a new, renewed passion for the sport.
Why that fight hasn't been signed?
Well, Coach Kenny told me it was, and he didn't know why it's not announced. But he's the coach. He's not sitting on the negotiation table with them. So maybe there's stuff he's unaware of. I don't know. Well,
let's be real with ourselves, right? Tank is the shot caller. So if it's not happening yet, we know who's to blame.
Yeah, and Tank was talking days after. I'm surprised. I thought they were going to announce a rematch within a couple weeks of the first fight, because Tank was so but they didn't. Who knows? Maybe Roach doesn't want it. I feel like he does, though. Like, why
Oh, are you
wouldn't he?
kidding me? This would be the biggest. He just made the biggest payday of his career. He's not gonna want the next biggest payday of his career. Of course he
This
wants. He's
this will be
dying
the
for that.
first. This will be the first biggest. He could demand more money in this one now, I believe. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's happening. But we're waiting for it.
A quick question. What has been the biggest disappointment or the biggest surprise that you guys are actually happy with Turkey entering boxing?
The fact that he's doing the whole league thing, that he's trying to make his own league, I like that. That's dope. Yeah, and that he's just from head to toe, like Lisa from head to toe, he is just starting to kind of revamp boxing. I didn't think he'll go that far. I thought he would just put together some big fights. But he's just like, I mean, everywhere you look, he's doing everything in all different areas and facets of the sport. He's like updating it. He's like that Y2K update. Like, he's just updating boxing slowly but surely from head to toe.
Yeah, see, if I had it my way, I hope that they go down this road because it's been done before. Like, you remember those Super Six tournaments, like the one they made Ward the unified champ or whatever.
Mhm.
If I had it my way, they would do that every year. The same way how the NBA and the and NFL do it every year. There's going to be a Super Six or Super Eight tournament, and round robin style. You go through the tournament, the gauntlet, and at the end of the year, bam, that's the guy. And then if he keeps the titles the next year, he has to go through the tournament again. I mean, that's exactly how the UFC used to be. The UFC, those motherfuckers used to fight 3 or 4 times in one night.
That's very good that you bring that up because I had that question before. How does that get organized? Do all promotional companies get involved, or is this one promotional company doing that, like that Super Six style tournament?
I mean, how long did that tournament take, the Super Six, from start to finish?
Fucking forever, like a year or two, something ridiculous. Yeah. And but it happened. It took that long because. So if I remember the story correctly, there was some bunch of rich fucks in Europe were like, okay, we want to invest in boxing, and they had the same kind of idea as Turkey, and they were like, okay, we're gonna wrangle up the top contenders, super middleweight division. We're gonna put together this tournament. But unfortunately, because of all the ails of boxing, of like, oh, okay, now this guy's demanding this, and they changed the terms of this happened. X person gets injured, Y person pulls out because there's not enough money. So in the end, the tournament turned out to be a huge clusterfuck. But still, it was still a really good idea. I mean, at least the blueprint is there.
I always wondered why they picked the super middleweight of all, because that was like the boringest division back then. I didn't get why they picked
If I were to
that.
take a guess, it's probably because it was the cheapest. If I were to take a guess. The fighters were cheaper.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering, like, why are we fucking doing, like, do the welterweight? But the welterweight, yeah, they didn't need it. I guess that was what? That was during the Floyd's reign, right?
Yeah, fuck no. There's nobody going to pay $20 million purses. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think, didn't they recently have another kind of Super Six tournament with, like, Inoue? Or something similar to that? I think it's been done since then. But yeah, I think really, like, at the time, I think most of the top contenders in the super middleweight division were all unknown European fighters. You know what I mean? And those guys, they'll fight for a fucking sandwich.
Crystal believes somebody's going to pull out of the Haney-Norman fight. I hope not. You don't want to see a tournament. Yeah, I hope nobody pulls out of that fight. I really hope not.
I'm telling you, man, the fact that they're planning these fights 4 months away, I wouldn't get my hopes up because a lot can happen in 4 months. This is boxing.
Yeah, but most fights that are announced end up going through. You know, I would say the majority of them go through. It's unlikely that they'll be canceled, but it happens. That's a fact. Guys, we are taking call-ins. Anybody else wants to join? Go ahead, Mo.
The way things are going, I think it could be. There's a good chance we might get Bivol versus Benavidez, man. The way the talk is between
Oh, I hope
between
so.
Beterbiev and Bivol. It
Well, I
sounds like
thought-
that fight's breaking down.
What's making you say that? I haven't heard that.
So I guess there was a report from the ring that I guess Bivol Bivol had asked the ring or Turkey or whatever to let them do the fight outside of Riyadh with an independent promotional company in Russia. And now I guess today there was some report of Beterbiev saying that the negotiations are breaking down, and that I guess Bivol might be injured. So it sounds like to me that that Bivol might not want that third fight either.
So then it would be better. Then it would be Beterbiev versus who doesn't have a belt.
Well, no, exactly. He doesn't have a belt, so it would have to be Bivol, right?
But then we still have to wait if he's injured.
That's true. Or it could be Beterbiev. Maybe he wants the Benavidez fight. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that because he has one belt. That makes more sense. Oh shit! Yeah, actually, that'd be perfect. That makes more sense with money wise, because then whoever wins that fight, they go and unify, and then that third fight can actually be for undisputed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Beterbiev is arguably a champ. Like those fights were both so close. I think Bivol did win the second one, but they were just so close. Boring too, surprisingly. It'll be more exciting to watch Beterbiev and Benavidez because it's just gonna be two robots coming right at each other. That'll be more exciting on paper.
I think I realize why I don't like Benavidez, or why I'm not a fan of his style, and this is why. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a blown up Marco Antonio Barrera, where he fights the exact same way, just relentless pressure, all this body punching, fighting on the inside. He's bullying all these guys. But Marco, you remember what happened to Barrera? He came up to somebody who finally could punch, and they stood up to him like he was a bully, and they cracked him, and then that fucking changed the course of his entire career.
Junior Jones?
It made him. It made him change his whole entire style. He went from just straight up puncher brawler to pure boxer to boxer puncher.
I did a video on that recently. Okay,
Yeah.
But I don't think Benavidez looks fights anything like Barrera at all. I think Benavidez has way faster, flashier hands. I don't think they're alike. But I mean, I get in terms of they both are pressure fighters, yes.
Benavidez, I'll tell you one thing. Benavidez doesn't really get enough credit for his fighting ability, number one, because obviously, his quote unquote nemesis and the people that a lot of people want to fight, want him to see the fight with is Canelo, and Canelo has such a cultist fan base that it just pretty much brings out the worst out of other fans. And B, aesthetically, like, this may sound very stupid and very dumb, but aesthetically, he's not the most well-looking guy. He just looks like a kind of like a pile of lard coming towards you. He might have a really good style, throws punches and bunches, but when it comes to like the physique of a boxer or someone that looks like this guy can fucking fight, he just doesn't have that.
Yeah, but
Right, he doesn't look marketable.
Neither did Trinidad. Trinidad didn't have a muscle on his body.
Yeah, but he wasn't like a big pile of lard.
What's that matter what the guy's body looks like if he can fight? Benavidez can fight.
For marketability purposes, it matters a lot.
So you like looking at a man's body, is what you're saying.
Not me. I'm talking about marketability, brother.
I don't think Benavidez looks like a pile of lard. He doesn't have muscles, but he's not a fat fuck when he fights. He's in shape.
Yeah, that was a bit of a stretch.
A pile of lard is maybe Bacoli, a big baby Miller,
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Fury sometimes looks like lard. Yeah.
He ain't no fucking Andy Ruiz.
Butterbean.
Because
Ruiz, those are
somebody
lard.
I just know who somebody was talking about Marco Antonio Barrera, like he wasn't. He outboxed plenty of guys. I don't know why you saw me fought the same style. Ask Prince Nas. Remember how he outboxed him? Didn't he outbox him, Marco?
Yep.
Come on,
No,
man.
you're
Marlon Tony
right, Jersey
Barrera was a
Bob. But
great fighter and had
before,
all kinds of.
no. But that was the second Barrera. That was the second coming of Barrera. The first version of Barrera, when he was fresh on HBO, that's what he was. He was just a straight up brawler. And until he got fucking cracked, and then he had to get brain surgery after that Junior Jones fight.
He
Changed
did?
him.
Brain
He sure as
surgery?
fuck did. He had some sort of medical complication after that fight, and he just took too many punches, bro. I think he had to get like a metal plate implanted something in his brain. It was crazy.
Let's look it up.
And he kept it secret from HBO for like years until he finally could get like a good contract, and then they came out, and I think it came out in the first Morales fight.
Okay, let's see.
But yeah, Junior Jones fucked him up, Marco. He for real fucked him up.
Let's see, I'm trying. The doctor said they had no idea about Barrera's surgery when he engaged in the 2005 with Eric Morales until it was a requirement later this year. MRI, Nevada, Barrera certainly wasn't forthcoming. I'm trying to see Barrera's it's a genetic condition. Barrera's genetic condition causes a small group of malformed blood vessels in his head, so it's not the fight, to cluster together. Some people go their entire lives without needing help, but Barrera began having headaches in '95. So this isn't apparently not to do with the Jones fight, and went to a neurosurgeon in Mexico City. Barrera says he has since undergone brain scans in regular intervals at various places, UCLA, blah, blah, blah. His cavernous agnioma, it's called. All that is dilated blood vessels. It's dilated vein that has no pressure. It has in it and has been taken away. I compare it to appendicitis. So they remove some veins and shit from his brain that they don't need. That would swell up. So yeah, well, he did have surgery though. You're right. Crazy. I never knew that.
Well, Marco, remember that happened in '95, but the first Junior Jones fight happened in '96. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that didn't help.
No, I mean, but something like that, like if he has if he had a complication from getting punched, I don't think he's coming back. Like if that's from getting hit and you're, shit. But I don't know. Either way,
Marco,
crazy.
listen to you talking about. You're talking about Mexicans. These motherfuckers are crazy, bro.
I didn't say that. You did.
I did. I did.
Navarrete doesn't have a great body, doesn't Mark? Navarrete, now he's slowing down, but Navarrete he was beating a lot of guys with that bad body.
Yeah, no, bodies don't mean shit. But Ralph has a point where it does look like shit. Like I remember after Ruiz, I just said this recently, after Ruiz knocked out Joshua, right? They kept just putting side-by-side comparison pictures of each of them and being like, can you believe the guy on the left, which is all fat and shit, is the heavyweight champion and knocked out the Adonis on the right? So it was like, people do focus on that. You know what I'm saying? And he was getting shit on. Poor Ruiz. He just had the biggest win of his life, and now they're just saying, look how this fat, sloppy fuck could beat, a muscle-bound Adonis. So yeah, they do talk about that. That does affect Mark, but it also creates almost a like circus freak, like Butterbean. People watch Butterbean because of how he looked.
Remember,
I think the opposite though. I think the opposite because it might make him more relatable. Because he looks like a fucking regular dude. Like Benavidez looks pretty. I mean, he looks more athletic than the average person, but his physique wise, he doesn't look like fucking. He looks like he could be truck driving.
He swells up in between fights, but he doesn't come into the fights.
But the issue, you're discounting the issue. If Benavidez was in a division by himself and he didn't have Canelo in front of him, you would have the Mexican fan base be behind them. But because Canelo is there, it makes it extremely difficult because a lot of his fans, I can put on a clip of a video of a girl on a podcast saying that she doesn't want to become a Benavidez fan because she feels like he's gonna face Canelo later on, and she doesn't want to get emotionally attached to liking him. Like there's a lot of fans that feel that way. They might not say it, but that's how a lot of fans feel.
Right. Man, I don't know. Having a nice physique does help marketability for sure. But some of the hardest punchers, like I said, Trinidad, Even De La Hoya like didn't have a lot of muscles. Some of these hard fucking punchers don't have muscles like that. You know, look at me. I hit pretty fucking hard. I'm thin. Like it doesn't really matter. But it does. I don't like dudes coming in overweight because to me it does make me question their discipline and their will. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing I didn't like about Piccoli the whole time. Piccoli was just, I'm like, come on, man. Like, come on. You know, and that's what makes me question that Tuamo.
You're not rolling with the new George Foreman?
Foreman was a Foreman.
You don't believe in the new George Foreman? Come on.
Well, yeah, okay. The new George. Yeah, I was like the new George Foreman. Like I get it because he would just come and throw hard shots, but nah, he didn't hit like George. He hits hard though. You know, and he's still a threat, but that's a discipline problem. Moses Atuama, I feel like he's a little heavier than he should be too. No? Just me?
He just looks maybe too bulked up, like too muscly wise. I think in the long run, that's not going to serve his purpose because he's going to have trouble going 12 rounds with these more technical guys like Ajik Kabayol or what's his name, or a Joe Parker type of guys who can, you know, they don't just come in there and bang. They got some technique and
Clarissa, look at that. Can you see that? I can't zoom in. That thing, that yellow thing right there, caught all those fucking fruit flies. I still got some, but yeah, way better. But we got more mice. I'm glad I moved out the ghetto and came to the new. Like, there's more fucking mice in this house. Oh, I caught 4 already. 4. Whatever. I don't want to talk about that. B Dog, what up? You remember John Ruiz? You got more mice? I do, Wavy. Another one. It was 3-4 days with nothing, and then I saw droppings. The cats were fucking hunting. There's more. Fucking annoying. Whatever. We're moving out of here soon anyway, so who gives a shit?
Hey, Marco, what's Moses and Tom? What's his weight? I thought he was only like 210.
Nah, he's probably about 225. We could look it up. I would say 225. I'm gonna guess Moses Atuama. Where's his box rec? That's annoying when the box rec isn't the first thing to pop up. There we go. His last fight, it says he's 6'4". My ball sack. He's not 6'4". He was 250. 250. He's 250.
Nah, could have been 250.
Yeah.
He can't be 250.
No, he is. The lowest
That's what his weight is?
The lowest he's fought at is 236. His last fight, he was 254. The fight before that, 249. He went up from 139 to, so he put on 10 pounds. So he's put on 15 pounds since last year. He's fighting Dillian White on August 16th.
I'm taking off, guys.
Oh shit, Marco.
Huh?
I said, oh shit, Marco.
What?
Yeah, happy Sunday, Rafael. Dude, I'm looking at a picture of Moses Thomas standing next to Tyson Fury. This is a big motherfucker. He's a lot bigger than I thought.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Rafael left.
Shit.
Peace out, Rafael.
I thought he was like maybe Richard Torres type of size, but no, he's a big motherfucker. He's a thick boy.
But he's a little chubby. Like he put on 15 pounds. Like I guess when you're 6'4", that's not the biggest deal, but he's a little chubby for me. Like I feel like I'd like to see him lose a little weight. He's 6'4". That's incredible.
I think he's just a thick dude. Like you know what I mean? Like he just comes from a thick. He looks like Samoan or something.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the picture you're talking about. Yeah, Fury's wearing like a black hoodie.
Yeah, he's a big bitch, dude. He's big.
Let's see. So, but look, you see him. He's definitely a good, I would say 20 pounds overweight, at least. Not in this picture with Fury. Wow, yeah. Wow. He's only like 4 inches shorter than Fury. Holy shit. Okay. Well, you learn something new every day. I thought he was about 6'1". That's pretty impressive then how agile he is for being 6'4". You know? Dude, you're wrong. Davis shown different facets. Huh? It's getting awkward. Why don't you jump in, Clarissa? Stop fucking around. What's up, round one? You in here?
Oh yes. Hey, I was gonna ask you guys, what do you guys think about this whole? Because I like watching like UFC, boxing, like the whole shebang, bro, the whole fight game. And what do you guys think about this, like fucking Dana White and fucking promoting this shit? They're like promoting the hell of it. TKO is, and like I don't know, some boxing fans kind of feel iffy about it because it's gonna be Max Kellerman and John Anik. And if you don't know who John Anik is, he's the commentator for the UFC. So they're gonna be commentating the fight.
Oh, this is a different round one. I thought this was the round one from TBV. So wait, I'm sorry. You're asking about what exactly?
What do you guys think about the whole TKO shit, like the whole Bud fight, like Dana White there,
I
and
like it.
yeah, like because I heard of John Anik, the UFC commentator, he's gonna be commentating the fight with Max Kellerman.
Right. I
And a
like
lot of
it.
people are kind of like iffy about it. A lot of boxing fans are iffy about it. I see a lot of MMA fans like, where the fuck is Dana at? Why isn't he like, you know, right here in this other presser for the fights? You know, shit like that. You know?
I like it, man. I think they're trying to, create a whole new league, something that's going to have some more structure, some real rules, one champion. I think it's what boxing needs. It's just going to take some time for everybody, the fans, the fighters, to transition into just kind of one entity like that.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean, the
not a
thing
Dana
about
White fan. I'm not a Dana White fan, but I don't care. If he promoting boxing, I don't care about his character or him doing UFC. If he's putting on good fights, he gonna pay for it.
Mm, true. True.
Yeah, I mean, this is like they're pushing this fight. Like, I mean, did you see the presser? They had it on like the Netflix. They had it on the UFC page, on WWE's page. Like, fucking had it everywhere, man.
Nah, I
So
didn't know that.
Why wouldn't they?
yeah,
You're
yeah.
talking like this is a bad thing.
No, no, it is though. But no, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying like there. This is how big like the fight is looking like. I mean, two guys. I mean, can you tell me when's the last time you seen like a big fight? Maybe like a big fight. I think the last one I seen was probably like Tank and Garcia. Like a big huge fight, a
A
magnitude.
big fight was Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
My wife was like, she's like, we gotta watch it.
that's
I know
crazy.
it was kind of fraudulent, but a lot of people was watching that fight. So that's a big fight.
It was crazy. I had so many people hitting me up, friends like who don't even give a fuck about boxing, like asking me questions because they know I'm like a boxing guy. And I'm like, since when do you give a fuck about boxing? Everybody wanted to see that shit. WWE fans were not feeling it. Yeah, well, I guess, but they're cross promoting. Like that's what they do. They're keeping everything in house. It's smart. Get the eyeballs of WWE, get the eyeballs of MMA, get everybody into boxing because we need it. Because the truth is, most
We
people
need MMA fans. If they're dumb enough to pay for Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather, and people was like, "Oh, Conor has a chance." Like, come on, y'all can't be
Yeah, a
serious.
lot of people were giving him a chance. I probably gave him a puncher's chance, but there was no way, bro. I mean, I've seen fucking who was it? James Toney over here talking shit over here to Dana White, to all these UFC fighters, and then he got in the cage, and it kind of like played out how I thought it would, like in a way, like certain like the fight, especially with James Toney, bro, like he wasn't taking MMA serious,
not at
but he got
all.
into the cage, and yeah, the first shot he tried to do, Randy just took him down, and then like had him smothered, and then hitting him, and then probably like what choked him after. So yeah, man, I certain fights I see is like when Ngannou came, and I seen Tyson Fury. I'm like, oh man, Ngannou's gonna get his ass beat. But Tyson Fury didn't even train right, bro. He didn't even look at the way he looked against Ngannou, and then look at the way he looked against Usyk. That was two different fucking people in a way, bro.
Yeah, but you can't blame. I mean, you can blame him because you should always take it serious. But you also kind of don't blame him because it's like he's fighting a dude who's never boxed before professionally. That was the start of Tyson's kind of slight downfall, in my opinion. Like there was no reason that fight should have been that close. Tyson
I
arguably
mean,
lost that fight.
yeah, that's true. And then it's crazy too because you had like someone like Ngannou going fighting back to back top boxers, and these guys haven't even fought each other yet. It's,
That's
Yeah, I
true,
remember
but
when Fury
You see
went
what
down.
AJ did what Fury should have done with him. Be honest, he should have
Oh,
just took him out.
I love that fight because Ngannou he was gassed up. He really thought they ranked him too. They fucking ranked him from
Yeah, I
that
know
one
they
fight.
ranked him, bro. They ranked. I like, how you gonna rank someone after they lost, bro? How do you rank what? How do you rank someone after a loss, bro? Like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
It's crazy, but the argument is he won to some people, but I loved it because he really thought he could do something in boxing, and AJ flattened him like a smash burger.
That's the thing, bro. Because when Tyson took it, I'm saying I was looking at it like, nah, bro. Tyson, you could tell, bro. I mean, I don't know, man. Tyson wasn't looking like he was really like, he really didn't take it serious, man. Because when he fought Usyk, he looked more sharper. He looked like he really like cut weight and shit like that. This Ngannou fight, I really thought he was gonna do something, but I guess people were eating it like, yeah, like, oh shit, Ngannou, or he could, bro. He didn't even drop him like that. He just like touched him a bit, but didn't drop him. Like the power wasn't there. Like how I seen it in MMA,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a terrible fight. Terrible fight. Should have never happened. I don't know why Tyson Fury took that fight. Like, I mean, I guess for the money, and he thought it would be
Yeah,
easy.
well, the thing is, it's crazy because like I said, I'll be watching a lot of MMA shit too, not just UFC. So he signed, like after he left the UFC, he signed to the PFL, and then right there, the PFL, I guess they made some deal with fucking the Saudis and boxing and shit like that, and he got the fight. He got 2 fights, matter of fact, which is fucking crazy. And he got a big old bag, bro. Like everybody was shitting on Ngannou. He was gonna be the highest paid heavyweight since Brock Lesnar, bro. Like he was gonna get like good millions and shit. Like probably like 8, 9 maybe, I don't know. But the thing is, he didn't want to do that. He wanted box. They didn't want to do boxing. He did the Conor shit. He's not gonna do nothing like that. So he left, and a lot of people were just not looking at him. The marketability, I guess. But PFL took a chance. They took him, and after he came back to the PFL after the Joshua fight, he went in and fought like the dude, I guess the PFL heavyweight dude, and he won. But it just showed me like the pay-per-views was like low, bro. Like 20 pay-per-view, 20K pay-per-view buys or less, bro. Like he has no mark. He's not a star. He has no marketability and shit. Or even the PFL, because the PFL, they're kind of like
What's PFL?
Professional fighting league. It used to be
And
World
that
Series of
what
Fighting.
Clarissa Shield was fighting in that, wasn't she?
That was the one she went into. Clarissa Shield was fighting in that. Also,
Is that like
Savannah Marshall.
that's like MMA shit?
Yeah, that's a MMA. That's an MMA organization. This is what I hate about the PFL though, because they'll have tournaments, right? Like tournaments and shit, right? But it's like points. It's kind of weird, man. Like the way I think they switched it up, which is good, but in a way it's kind of weird. I mean, they have some people like Francis and Clarissa. Well, Clarissa's not there no more, right? And she said she's not gonna fight MMA no more, so
She shouldn't.
she's probably not gonna be there. I mean, it was cool. She had a cool fights, fun fights, competitive fights. But she's gonna do her boxing shit. So, and then we got Savannah Marshall. I don't know if she's still signed in there.
Savannah Marshall does MMA?
Yeah, she did. She did an MMA fight right there with PFL, and then
She any good?
her and Clarissa. Yeah, she did good. Clarissa came in, and then they were talking each other and shit like that. So Savannah Marshall was looking like they're trying to build up to this. But this is the thing about the PFL, bro. Bellator, another MMA organization, was going down. It was collapsing, and then I guess the PFL bought in. So
Crazy.
you gave the PFL fighters like in a way you bought them out and shit. Like so you kind of like collab together,
Right.
We had the PFL champions versus the Bellator champions and shit like that. So, but at the end of the day, you gave a big back to Ngannou as well. And then look, bro, like you PFL is like, it really is like it's like they got cool names. I mean, look, Ollie Walsh's brother fights in there. He's an MMA fighter.
I mean, we don't.
So, but the PFL, bro, it's like structured weird. It's really like a lot of people, a lot of MMA fans laugh at me when I say the PFL. So
Yeah, I mean, we don't.
marketability wise, they can't do shit.
I don't know shit about MMA. I hate MMA, to be honest with you. Can't stand it.
Hey Marco, you remember when UFC first started? Man, it was like Street Fight. I used to watch that. Remember a dude named Tank Abbott,
Yeah, I remember
the
Horse
fat white
Gracie.
dude.
Horse Gracie would just go up and choke everybody out. It was boring.
Yeah, that's the part I ain't like. I like when they had the dudes was like street fighting.
Yeah.
But then they got too. They brought in guys who were too good, and then I lost interest. Like Boris, yeah, he was wrestling dudes and
Hey, I
choking them
believe
out.
there was no weight division, so he was a small guy, but he was beating everybody. He would just do that Brazilian jiu-jitsu
Yeah,
shit. Hey, would
that's what
choke
it
him.
was like. I didn't want to
Yeah,
watch that all that
but
choking.
it's crazy because like the UFC won the first UFC because the UFC thing, it was the Gracies who kind of like had a hand in making it and shit, right? Like they just said, oh, we should get all these fighters, and they really didn't get the best fighters. Like they had a boxer there. Who was that boxer? Do you guys know? I didn't even know him like that. Was he a world champion like that?
I don't
Was
know
he
who you're
good?
talking
Like
about. We don't
uh,
really watch any of that stuff here.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's like really, or like, they have like sumo guy, or the first UFC shit, like the karate
Oh
dude.
yeah, I
Like,
remember
they weren't
Sumo
the
Guy.
best, bro. Yeah, they
I don't
weren't.
remember that.
Probably the only good one probably was there was probably like Ken Shamrock, maybe, because he was like one of the top fighters in his organization, Pancrase, But other than that, yeah, man.
Early UFC Marco was basically like a glorified tough man contest. Like really, like it's literally like I
Yeah,
could go up there and be
Basically,
like,
bro.
"Oh, guys, I'm a fucking 10-degree karate master," and they'll put me in there and like, "Oh, 10-degree karate master Mo Brains. He's coming in here to fucking," and then fight some guy who drives, a semi truck on the weekend and shit. Like it's pretty fucking depressing.
Yeah, I don't like MMA. I don't even like the bare knuckle league. I don't like any of that shit.
Oh yeah,
It's
Bare Knuckle's
savagery.
cool, bro. It's pretty cool.
It's
I like it.
savagery. We are
It's just too
I like
brutal.
Muay Thai, bro. I like Muay Thai, bro. I like Muay Thai. Like the one championship logo I got right there. That's a Asian promotion. That's promotion out in Asia, and they got Muay Thai fights, kickboxing fights, MMA fights, shit like that. But to me, it's fun, and I like the Muay Thai fights because they use like 4-ounce gloves and shit. So you'd be seeing a lot of knockouts and shit.
I feel you. Well, look, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I will be back on tonight. Appreciate you guys as always. Back
Marco, you gonna watch some NBA preseason? I mean, summer league.
No. All right, Bob.
All right, Marco, have a good one.
Bro.
See you guys tonight.
See you
Peace.
later.
All right.